I sometimes don't even know why I put myself out there and do these things, other than I feel this overwhelming urge to have a discussion about this with people like you who are so smart and push back in a way that allows my mind to continue to grow and see things in a more clear manner.
Now, Andy, in part one, we talked about the BRICS and how they're expanding and moving away from the dollar and how that alliance is posing to be a big challenge on the global stage. And you touched on this idea that creating a weaker dollar, which leads to the collapse of the system, may be an intentional effort from within the US to engineer a reset leading to a CBDC or central bank digital currency. Now, granted, this is speculation. You're drawing on real data points and stringing together a theory. But break that down for us. Make the case of how this could actually be by design.
I really even hate saying it. I mean, I do. When I say it, I get this in the back of my head, like, did you really just say that? And we've printed more money over the last 4 years than in the history of the country preceding it. When you say to the world, hey, this is Putin's inflation, and in every single way that's a lie, it became very transparent to me. They're looking for a villain. Our largest asset in this country is student debt, representing almost 40+% of our assets. Student debt is the largest asset in this country. They've chosen the inflation pathway over anything else. Let me just give you an example. When they raised the debt ceiling, they increased the debt ceiling by $600 billion in 13 days. And that's adding $500,000 every second. They've added $1.8 trillion to the national debt in the last 8 weeks. And it took 209 years for this country to get to accumulate its first $1.8 trillion in debt. We've done it in 8 weeks. How else do you pay off $155 trillion in debt? As interest rates are rising and the accumulation of debt is increasing at a pace that the world has never seen. At what point do you realize that there is no way to pay it off? And rather than falling on the sword and being blamed for destroying the American way of life through mismanagement, monetary policy, and inflation, and the brain dead monetary and fiscal policy that we've seen over the last few years, either you fall on the sword and go down in history books as being that entity that did it, or better yet, you find a villain, and it was Putin's inflation and OPEC and Xi Jinping and this new alliance of countries that turned their back on the U.S., and they did it.
And then people say, well, sure, you're talking your book. You sell gold coins, you sell silver coins. That's what you do. What do you say to that criticism, that you have an agenda in having this thesis?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I were having a drink with you, I would say nothing pisses me off more than hearing that, because I've been doing this for 3 years. I put myself out there for the whole world to take pot shots at me for saying stuff like that. We've done $9 billion in sales, and I promise you that I don't need to talk my book. I don't need to do these things. I sometimes don't even know why I put myself out there and do these things, other than I feel this overwhelming urge to have a discussion about this with people like you who are so smart and push back in a way that allows my mind to continue to grow and see things in a more clear manner.